So we believe anytime now, Chair, that the gazettement of the transfer is going to happen. We in our meetings, we gave October as the outside of that type. So we believe in October that process will be complete, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. So let's look at your uncollected revenue, long outstanding revenue. OAG, what was your observation? And then we consider the governor's response.
Thank you, Chair. We did say that it's only 3 million that has been recovered so far. So we felt that is too
Actually,
low.
just read the
Okay.
your finding. Get the governor's response.
All right.
Long outstanding revenue is in the executive.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are transitioning.
Yeah, page 17.
Page
We are transitioning into the executive report.
Your certificate is good.
7.
Long outstanding revenue.
Okay, proceed.
I read long outstanding revenue. As reported in the previous year, review of the debt and aging analysis provided for audit reflects revenue in arrears of Kenya shillings 11,984,425,260 owed by several debtors, which comprise of uncollected land rent, rates, and royalties. However, management did not explain measures put in place to collect this outstanding revenue. Further, the county government of Kajiado management, through the Department of Finance, Planning, and ICT, contracted a service provider to collect revenue on its behalf. However, no evidence was provided for the progress made in recovery of the outstanding debts by the contracted service provider. In the circumstances, absence of a clear, actionable plan for collection of revenue, collection of arrears, the collection of land rent, rates, and royalties arrears could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, what was your response?
Thank you, Chair. We wish to respond that the county government has implemented several measures to collect revenues in areas, and I wish to explain one, payment plans. We offered flexible payment plans to help debtors settle their own arrears over time without financial risk or strain. The legal action we have pursued through legal avenues to recover our debts, including the issuance of summons or court orders from non-compliance. And on collaboration and financial institutions, we in partnering with the banks and financial institutions to facilitate easier payment options for residents. Strengthened enforcement, increasing the capacity of our revenue enforcement officers following up on outstanding payments. Annexed to this report, Chair, is court documents on the Tata Magadi Chemical, who owe the county government of Kajiado 10.5 billion. I wish, Chairman, to put that emphasis that out of the 11 billion in question, 10.5 billion is owed by Magadi Soda, and we are expecting any time a determination by the court. In the first round before the appeal, the county won the case in court, and therefore, Chairman, we want to confirm that that is really where the bulk of the issue is, and it's in public domain that the county and Magadi have that tussle in court. With regard to the regional business collection limited,
Maybe, Governor, since this is 87.5% of your debtors book,
correct.
maybe you could just help us understand what is the issue.
Yes, it is, Chair. Magadi, Tata Chemicals Magadi, for a long time was paying counties peanuts for what will be land rates. In fact, let me emphasize to say that this company has been in that space for over 100 years. And when we passed our revenue, what do you call this, Finance Act, to put Magadi Soda into the same land rates like everybody else. You know, previously they will say per acre we pay 50 shillings. So when we say everybody else is paying 1,200 per acre, they went to court. In the first court ruling, the court ruled that the finance bill was validly passed and Magadi was to comply. Magadi, the High Court said we go to arbitration. We went to arbitration. and Magadi Soda lost at arbitration. So they went to the Court of Appeal. So this is a company that is outrightly refusing to pay taxes or levies to counties, refusing to recognize the county, trying to get the same law, County Government Act with regards to levies and taxes. And so that is what the story is. And we believe...
It's not royalties, it's rates on land. On the
rates
land.
on land rates.
Okay.
This is land rates.
So the 10.5 has accumulated over the years, or since the passage of that Finance Act?
Since the passage of that Finance Act. Because these people occupy a whole ward. They have land more than 400,000 acres. The whole ward belongs to them. Even the people who are living there just live at their mercy. It's a complete historical injustice as well.
What is the status of Tata Magadi Chemicals? It's a private,
it's a private company.
Limited,
it's a private mining company.
Private.
They mine Magadi Soda ash.
So if you look at two perspectives, does it increase the cost of doing business in Kajiado when there is a Finance Act that imposes high rates on land? There's that element, but then there's also the element of justice. How do you balance between the two?
To arrive at the land rates that we charge on every land owner in Kajiado, it is out of citizen participation, and we will not consider it as, excess. It is really what everybody is paying in Kajiado. But here is a company, a big money mover, that is refusing to comply with the law. And so it does not increase the cost of doing business. But I agree that is also a question of historical injustice, that one company occupies a whole ward. And in Kajiado, a ward is equivalent to some counties because it's so vast land. So the county even made the offer to tell these people, why don't you surrender the grazing land and you just occupy the lake where there is trona. Trona is the soda ash that they mine. And that conversation was carried with the Ministry of Mining, that really for them to have grazing land as part of their land is not right. But if you wanted to keep it, they should have paid for land rates for the same. So we believe that the courts are seized of the matter, and because it is in court, just like it has happened in the lower courts, the correct determination will be made.
So that we determine whether we are sub judice or not, what is before court for determination right now? Is it the amount or whether they should pay, so that we are careful also on what we deal with
in fact, I want to appeal to this committee and the Senate to intervene for the county, because it is an injustice for one landowner to displace everybody else. But what is before court is the question that the county say, we passed a law that everybody is complying with. You also need to comply as Magadi Soda. They floated the idea of saying we can surrender some land, but that has not happened yet. So as it is, they should just pay for the land rates for the land they occupy.
Senator Marumu?
Yeah, maybe, Chair, just for clarity, out of the 500,000 acres of land, how many acres are they using? Are they using the whole land, or there's some land that they're not using? Number two, you are saying that they refuse to pay the land rates from the time the new Finance Act came into being, which charged 1,200. When did that Finance Act come into being? Because then, for 500,000, charging at 1,200 per year, that is 600 million. 600 million, even for the time devolution has existed, say 15 years, that would be 9 billion. So did it mean that you passed that law? No, but if it was a county law, it must have been after 2013. So maybe 10 years, 6 billion. So when did they stop to pay? Because if the 500,000 for 1,200 times 10, that is 6 billion.
Because we would like to take your appeal to find a way for the Senate to be seized of this matter and to push so that the people of Kajiado can get their money. But the numbers, maybe you can address the numbers as raised by Senator.
Yeah, the law that they went to contest was the County Finance Act of 2016. The way the land is in Magadi is that there is a mining area, Lake Magadi itself, where there is trona. Trona is the mineral that they, mine for soda ash. The lake itself occupies 8,000 acres, and that is considered as the mining area. But the place they occupy is in hundreds of thousands of acres. So that is where the community in Magadi wards lives. The community are also saying that this land should be community land, the land outside the mining area. But there is even an additional interesting twist to it. Research shows that Lake Magadi is able to carry 8 mining companies to do the mining in Lake Magadi. But these people are holding everybody at ransom to be a monopoly. So they are a monopoly. The lake has a higher potential. The grazing lands are under them, and they're refusing to pay for the land rates as per the county acts. So that is what is in court. So that is a contestation.
Senator Cherargei, and then we'll also get the advice of the senator from Kajiado.
I think, Article 96 gives us power to protect devolution. When you see a company owes 10 billion plus, as a committee, we must get to the root matter of this issue to really find out, because you can imagine 10 billion what can do for the people of Kajiado. Now, just Governor, just a clarity, you have said that this company has a mining area that involves the lake and the rest of the land. So do you benefit from local content, as in where national, I think it was 60, 2010, or 70, 2010. Do you benefit
from the benefit sharing thing?
Benefit sharing.
Chair, I'm happy you assessed of the interest to look deeper into this. And I will recommend that you visit the county and you visit Magadi, so that you talk to the community, you talk to the company, you talk to the assembly, and talk to everybody. Everybody agrees that Magadi Soda is a rogue company. I have said the lake they occupy because they say they have a lease. And to the best of our knowledge, that lease expired in 2023. But they went to doctor some documents to show otherwise that they still have the lease. But they should also be
Governor,
forced.
let's be careful because they are not here. But we can provide another forum where they are present, so that when you make the allegations, yes, they are also able to respond.
I agree with you, and I'm saying I'm happy that Senate says that one company is holding close to 11 billion of the county government. That is huge money for this country. On the issue of royalties, you will find in the accounts here that there was a time we were to receive some royalties, but that was not remitted. But that is a conversation that we will have with the Ministry of Mining, because they allege to have paid their royalties. So the issues here is there is a rogue investor refusing to pay taxes and occupying the land that they should surrender. So, and since they are in mining, they should not occupy the land that is supposed to be grazing land for the local community.
Chair, I sympathize, because in Nandi County we have similar problem with Kareba Gold Mine, where these investors think that they are larger than life. And it is very unfortunate that you don't get benefit from the mining or what they are doing in Magadi. And the Chair, even if this is a historical debt, they should have even honored the cost-benefit sharing that we normally pass. So I think, Chair, I think we were doing investigations into the mining when the cabinet minister has to appear. Yeah. We should add this issue of Kajiado when CS Joe appears, so that we can know where is the problem. Even if they had historical debt, they should at least honor their royalties, because the law is very clear. They are remitting 70 to the national government, 20 to county government, 10 to the local community. And that is what the Mining Act of 2015 is saying. Even the mining rules of 2015 is saying. So it is the law, which means they have been, and I agree with you now that that company is wrong. And we must ensure that any investor that invests in our counties, they must respect the counties and Kenyans and pay those royalties. So, Chair, I request that this matter be taken up on the issue that we were doing on mining in counties. I yield.
Because in other counties we are used to allegations of the national government refusing to pay. Now here we have a private company. Because when you drive through Kitengela, there are all these universities with vast amounts of land. Do they pay that rate?
They do, and even individual citizens pay the same rates.
So there's no reason
Because
why.
the way the rating is done is areas are rated according to the value of the land. So everybody is paying.
So it's only done.
Senator Kajiado?
Thank you, Chair. I think it is true that Magadi Soda has refused to pay the rates, land rates. And you know, as the governor has explained, Chair, other citizens are paying. So why Magadi? So that is something that we need to enforce as this committee, because it's part of the issues that are reflecting in this report. And Chair would really request to have the National Treasury to be in that committee, in that sitting, because they have a number, quite a lot of money that they have held in terms of royalties. Not just, you know, there's two different rates here. There's land rates and loyalties. And for the purposes of loyalties, you know, we passed that county, in regards of my county, they're supposed to have received 600 million from loyalties from companies, Magadi Soda being part of it. So I think it is good that we also force National Treasury to forward this money to the counties, or to counties, because they have a problem. They have areas of money that has not been, which they have already received from these private institutions or private companies, and they have not submitted or even forwarded the money to the counties. But more importantly, Chair, the issue of land rates, that is where now the problem of 11 billion is coming from. So that is what we really want to enforce. Magadi Soda to be here, and the Ministry of Mining to be here, so that they tell us, a National Treasury, so that they tell us why are they so special that they don't pay land rates, while a common mwananchi is paying land rates, who has a plot
And the same rating.
and the same rating under the finance bill of the county government. So I think that is very important, Chair, for us to observe as this committee.
Senator Chiradge, the tea farms of Nandi, do they pay rates?
Chair, they used to pay until the governor decided to be mischievous. He decided to
looks
increase.
like I've opened up Pandora's
No,
box.
I
I just wanted for comparison.
Let me. They were paying because it was 100 shillings per acre. The county decided through the finance bill to raise to 5,000 per acre, and that is when they went to court and they stopped. But they used to pay, and everybody pays. Even multinational tea estates are paying, and they are willing to pay. In fact, when they went to court and they won, they now reverted to the 100 shillings they were paying per acre.
But this Magadi is not paying at all, or they're paying the old rates?
No, they're not.
At all.
They are not paying at all.
That is why even we have bed occupancy for hotels. It is part of that, I hope so.
Yeah, it is part of the contribution you make in taxation for where you operate. If you, Chair, for example, if you had a plot, you always pay annual rates. You know, so everybody is paying except Magadi Soda.
Senator Moro?
This is a serious
maybe,
matter.
Chair, what would be of interest to me, what is mined there at Magadi? Is it lime?
Soda ash.
Soda ash,
The mineral itself is called trona.
Yes.
But the outcome is soda ash, and this is what they use to make glass.
Okay.
But actually, they take the material to India. They do their thing, their processing in India.
In India.
This is a company that has its own railway. You know, they have a railway, they carry all those materials and take it outside the country. It's a big story.
How do you get to know the amount of money that you owe them that is supposed to be paid to you in terms of the 10%? Because for us, like in Tata
we are only asking
we used to have
for
iron ore. And they used to know, to calculate how much iron ore is supposed to be paid for in terms of royalties. When it is being exported, then we'll know one ship is 58,000 tons. So we know the return, and we'll measure the number of ships that have been used to export the iron ore. How do you measure, or how do you get to know how much is supposed to be paid? Do you have way bridges?
The people of Kajiado are not even asking a cent from the mineral from their land. We are simply just charging the space without even charging the minerals. If we go your way, these people will owe us trillions because they have been taking this mineral for years. You know, they came there in 1909 to date. So your question is valid, but that is even not where we are. We're only charging a rate per acre. So we are only looking at the land and say you have this number of acreage, this is how it is rated, just trade multiplication.
I think maybe just for advice, I sit in the Lands, Environment and Natural Resources Committee. You can bring a petition, just a statement on royalties, which will deal with CS for mining and treasury at the Lands Committee, if you can bring it.
Yeah, it can be processed there. Even this committee, Suomoto, can pursue it because it's a significant fiduciary risk for one person to owe 10 billion. And that was as at that time. I'm sure it keeps growing. And if you went the royalty way, then it would appear that Kajiado could then be one of the few counties that can sustain itself from on-source revenue. Because if you took the park, you took the Magadi, and just ensured you close all the leakages, you'd probably be above the 6 billion that
100%,
CRA is talking
probably
about.
That's what CRA is saying, 6 billion, which is more. But I agree with you that from those two natural resources, the county should ideally be able to collect substantial amount of revenues to support the development agenda. So I again, once more, bring to the attention of the Senate that this is a matter of national interest of rogue investors. Thank you.
Senator?
Yeah, I think, Chair, it is very important to note that even the loyalties, the county has no, they are not aware of how they calculate what's due for them to the 20% that they do. So it is the national government to discuss, agree with the company, and then they say, this financial year, we have paid national government this much, which is a total of this, which 20%, the county now will get it. So I think it is also important that the county comes in, because I'm very sure they are taking a lot of money out of the county, rather than even national. We depend on the national government to give us the figures. So I think it is true that the county will even get more money than what they are receiving here.
County Attorney, the governor says there's something before the courts. Can you tell us what exactly is before the courts, so that whatever is still before the court for determination, we don't venture into, because this is a matter that warrants an inquiry by the Senate?
Thank you, Chair. And I think for me, we have 4 matters that involve us and Magadi. One is a major issue of discussion. That is a matter which is a 2019 matter, petition number 1 of 2019. In that matter, Chair, the county won at the High Court. And that is the main matter. And the piece of legislation in discussion is the 2014 Finance Act. It's the first Finance Act that was done by the county government. The acreage is around 234,000, so times the value of each acre, and as per the Rating Act and the Finance Act, I think they owed the county 17 billion at that point. The court made a determination that you go for arbitration before the CS mining, because there is an issue of the lake, which falls under the Mining Act. And they walked out of the proceedings in the arbitration and went to the Court of Appeal. We later, because of the court documents, revised the claim, removed the railway line, because the railway line has a different title deed. We also removed the lake because the map had the acreage. The remaining part, we subjected them into the Rating Act and came up with a figure of around 11 billion. So in that, Chair, the Court of Appeal is set to rule today on Magadi. It has been...
As we speak today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Today is 24th, right?
So what are the matters that we expect them to...
The matters that we are supposed... First of all, the High Court.
Yeah.
The High Court held that the Finance Act is legal in nature, and that they should pay, minus the areas of the lake and all that. The other issue was the rates. They are payable to us. However, the arbitration part is what they didn't want the CS to deal with. So the court will actually rule out on this matter in finality. That is the first matter which we have with Magadi. The other matter we have filed is to recover this outstanding rates. We took another matter to court based on the next Finance Act, which was 2020 and 2023. Every time we go to court, they bring the issue of the Court of Appeal case to block us from recovering the rates. The other issue is on the title, the lease document, that we actually doubt how it was renewed, because it was renewed 10 years before expiry. So that is the issue.
Okay, so members, if we are expecting some decisions from the courts today, we don't need to get into details or give any recommendations or directives, except that this is a matter that is significant enough for the Senate to conduct an inquiry, and will be informed by the decisions that will be coming from the courts. Fine, so I think we have very limited time remaining. Let's go back now to the issue of pending bills. What was your concern? There was
maybe sorry. I thought you should say we should cease of this matter of Magadi Swamoto,
yes,
so
yes,
that you direct the secretariat to include in our ongoing investigation.
Yeah, because I think also, to be fair to Magadi, we have made statements here, including calling them rogue.
Yes.
It would be the rules of natural justice would demand that they also get an opportunity to be heard on the matter.
And I hope they will not work out the way they worked out in arbitration. I hope they will stay long enough.
Okay, so yes, County Attorney, give him a mic.
And also, as the county attorney is responding, do you have a community development agreement committee for Magadi? SIDAC.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last bit.
Do you have a community development agreement committee for Magadi with the county?
No, the CDA is not in place, so they are in total contravention of the Mining Act.
Okay, what did you want to say?
I wanted to mention that one, just to be very clear on this issue that is before the Court of Appeal, they don't have stay, so there is no sub judice if the Senate will take it suo motu.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to pending bills. Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Non-disclosure of pending bills. Annex 2 to the financial statements reflects nil pending accounts payables. However, prior year disclosure and Annex 2 reflects a balance of Kenya shillings. Page 3. Page 3 of the report.
Yes, proceed. It's under other matter.
Okay. Non-disclosure of pending bills. Annex 2 to the financial statements reflects nil pending accounts payables. However, prior year disclosure and under Annex 2 reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 1,197,584,070, resulting in non-disclosure of pending accounts payables. In addition, review of the report on the status of the county pending bills reveals that the county had pending bills totaling to Kenya shillings 2,290,313,208, which comprise of development and recurrent expenditure of Kenya shillings 1,531,450,134 and Kenya shillings 758,863,074 respectively. Management has not amended the financial statements to reflect the pending payables in the annexes. Failure to settle bills during the year to which they relate distorts the financial statements and adversely affects the budgetary provisions for the subsequent year as they form the first charge. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, we had a recommendation there which was fairly detailed, so we won't read it.
The management wished to mention that by the time of preparing the financial statements for the financial year 2023-2024, which was submitted to the auditor by 30th of September 2024, our pending bills report was still being analyzed and reviewed by pending bills committee. The pending bills report has since been finalized and submitted to the relevant authorities, including Controller of Budgets and Office of the Auditor General, and we have attached Annex 3 to that effect. The management has taken note that this non-disclosure and the same will be rectified subsequently by disclosing the financial statements as recommended by the Auditor General and as guided by the financial statements reporting template. what Chair we are saying here is that as at the time when the audits were going on, our audit committee had not completed their work. That is why we did not make the disclosure, but we have since made for the forthcoming audit that is ongoing in the county. I submit, Mr. Chairman.
Auditor General, is disclosure of pending bills a suggestion or it is a requirement?
Chair, it's a requirement.
Governor, what do you say to that? Because you treated it as if it was just a suggestion. You owe people money. In the financial statements, it is not clear how much you owe. That cannot be a financial statement that represents a true and fair picture of the entity when the debts are not disclosed.
Chair, I agree with you. However, I'm saying at the time of reporting, our pending bills committee was still doing their work. So that not to do or not to report incorrectly, we allowed them to do their work, and that has since happened. We have since, in the forthcoming accounts, made the full disclosure of the pending bills, Mr. Chairman.
Who's the accountant between the two people on your left and right?
The accountant is Majakusi.
Majakuzi? Yes. Disclosure of pending bills, is it a suggestion or it is an important requirement?
It is an important requirement.
So?
Well, Chair, as the Governor has said...
Even on the excuses, you are a ISPAC member.
Yes.
So what is your professional responsibility when it comes to reporting?
Full disclosure.
Was this full disclosure in the absence of accounts payable?
It wasn't, and the reason is any disclosure...
You go to excuses, you agree it was not...
It wasn't, yes, I agree.
Remember, Governor, that this is not the only county you are dealing with. There are 46 other counties. None of them has ever brought that kind of excuse. Because even though there is a verification going on, you can take a view on what has been verified, or what is, we call them eligible. Yeah, what's the word that they've been using? Ineligible and eligible. What your accountants ought to have done as a minimum, because you cannot say that the entire year you didn't know who you owed money. Because in that year, you are contracting services, isn't it? So even for the ones contracted in that year, you didn't know, you could not disclose them. This is professional negligence. Before we get into the other associated criminal offenses as per the law. I mean, this is the first county that has told us that they could not disclose their pending bills. You are the first one. Your other 46 colleagues, even though they are going through verification, at least their finance people are able to present a listing of what is verifiable. And then again, Governor, this was your 7th year in office. Why would you have that kind of problem that after 7 years, your people cannot tell you with authority that these are the people we owe? What is the problem?
Chairman, I agree with you that there is a professional negligence on this, and there is administrative action that needs to be taken. And so I concur that it is a matter requiring administration action, which I will take. And so I want to confirm that in the previous years there were disclosures to that effect, and now we have made the changes to reflect that. But I wish to agree that it is unacceptable.
Part of our recommendation was a payment plan to be submitted to the control of budget. And I'm looking at the schedule you have provided. The first entry is a classroom at Sumeria Primary School, a contract of 2014-2015 of 1.49 million. What we are interested in is what is your plan to settle those pending bills? Because your senator and the rest of us have already passed money to go to the county. Why are you not using that money to pay these things from 2014, 2015? Because I'm assuming that what you have here is what is now verified. So what's a payment plan? What's a plan? We need to hear how this number is moving. We need to hear that out of your 2 billion, you have now paid probably 1 billion. And whatever is remaining, this is a plan for settlement. I think that's a solution we want to get from here, beyond what we have said about professional responsibility. Now let's go to the solution.
Chair, the reported previous year pending bills were fully captured in our accounting. And we have, as a county government, in the previous year and even this year, provided a substantial amount of money to make sure that we clear for these pending bills. We know that this is an important obligation to the county government, and as part of our budgeting process, we have provided a substantial amount to pay the pending bills. Chair, we continue to work to enhance our own source revenue so that we increase resources coming to the county to be able to pay for our pending bills. And so, Chair and committee, we have provided resources to continuously minimize our pending bills and to ensure that subsequently we collect sufficient resources so that we do not incur additional pending bills from the previous that have been now.
But Governor, if you would have read our recommendation, then you would have seen that you needed to come here with a documented payment plan, not the narration, not just the listing. Yeah.
Vice Chair, looking at Annex 3, the title of that document is written, okay, the sentence there is enclosed therein, please find our Kajiado County Executive pending bills report for the financial year 23-24 and the payment plan for the pending bills during the year 24-25 for necessary action. Maybe you need to point us to that second part, the payment plan.
The payment plan.
Where does it begin from? And number 2, Chair, I'm looking at page 7 of that same annex, Chair, and wondering why, Governor, if you look at number 17, proposed construction and renovation works at Kimana Dispensary. If at all that work was done, was Kimana Dispensary finally done? The amount paid is 6.07 million. What is still owed is 3.9 million. The next one is model laboratory at Masimba Secondary School. Was it done? That is in 2017, 2018. I think you are still governor. A contract amount 4.9 million, paid 3.9 million, not paid 1.49 million. Why didn't you pay this really? 2018 is so long a time. It's long ago. Why can't you pay this contract 1.5 million? If that work was done well and the lab is in use. And so I think what we needed, Chair, is a payment plan that our pending bills are 1 billion. And so in this financial year, the budget would be 200 million. And this 200 million would be used to pay these pending bills. Then for the subsequent financial year, we'll maybe plan for another 200 million. And these are the pending bills that you plan to pay. But this really, unless you show us the payment plan, I don't think it's here.
Is there a payment plan here?
Chair, we have provided for in this financial year.
Sorry, Governor, do we have, as the Senate has rightly stated, your letter says find, attach the payment plan for pending bills. That was our recommendation, that you come up with a payment plan. So do we have a payment plan before the Senate?
Chair, thank you so much. The report that is here as annex is the report that we had submitted to the control of budget, and we submitted this report together with the payment plan. What we had shared with
you are the signatory to this letter, forwarding letter?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, so what we expected, if you read our recommendation, we had a long recommendation. We would have expected you'd come to the Senate and tell us that of our 2 billion pending bills, this is what we have paid, this is the balance, and this is how we plan to pay in the next quarters. You know, if you don't do that, then what you have brought here is just data without information.
Yes, Chair, I agree with the recommendation as well stated. But if you look today, I'm sure our pending bill report currently now is not reflecting some of the projects that are listed here. If we had shared the updated one, the one
I'm sure someone here has the numbers. Please, we must leave this Senate knowing that out of their 2 billion, has it grown or has it reduced? We must come out of here with a number. So can someone look at that number so that it goes on record that you're making progress? Because if it remains at 2 billion, then why should the CS Treasury continue releasing money to Kajiado if money is coming and it's not used to settle pending bills? So is there someone with a figure on how this 2 billion has moved?
Chair, we usually make every effort to pay every year, and provision are made every year.
See.
Thank you, Chair.
Not stories. We want to know that you are at 2.2 billion. Where are you? What progress have you made? Not through a narration, but by figures. We were at 2.2 billion. We have now settled 600 million or 1 billion or whatever the case is. This is the balance. And on this balance, this is our plan. Simple as that. If someone does not have that information, then I don't know what kind of enterprise you are running.
Chair,
Senator Chirarke.
Chair, I think we have left a very important issue, is this non-disclosure. I think you heard what the governor said, that he would take administrative action for this non-disclosure. But this is professional misconduct, Chair. And I request that this non-disclosure misleads us, because the financial statements of any entity discloses who they are. In fact, if there are no financial statements, you cannot know what is happening in an entity. So, Chair, even as the governor takes administrative action against the people who signed this financial statement and non-disclosure of account payables or the pending bills, we have always pronounced ourselves in ISPAC. Therefore, we must, because CPA Joshua Machakusi, how long have you been practicing as an accountant? Through the chair?
12 years.
12 years?
Yes.
Then you don't have an excuse. Chair, I request that we refer to ISPAC for necessary professional misconduct proceedings to be taken against, because we have taken a position, and I don't think it is only accountants. We have said in all professionals that commit such a serious professional misconduct should be handled as such. Chair, I yield.
Majakuzi, can you try to redeem yourself by giving us those numbers that we are asking for?
Well, Chair, it is true we had 2.2 billion pending bills, and the financial year 2024-2025, we budgeted 676, and out of the 2.2 billion, we paid 676. So I believe there's a balance of 1.6 billion. But more importantly, pending bills has been occasioned by revenue shortfall. That is our biggest challenge and our biggest undoing as a county.
What CC will tell us are the normal narrations about what makes pending bills to exist. But my question would be, even if there are revenue shortfalls, a tender that was given in 2018 of a classroom, and that classroom is done in that financial year 2017-2018, why is it not paid for in 2025? That is the question.
Well,
shortfall, yes.
Well,
but in the
I can confidently say that out of the 2.2 billion pending bills that the county owes suppliers and contractors in 2023-24 financial year, the county made some effort to budget 676 in 2024-25 financial year. And I can confirm that the same 676 million was paid, and there is a balance of 1.6. Why did the county not budget the whole amount? It's because of the issue of budget, but more importantly, the county tried its best to reduce spending bills by 676 million.
You know, if we had a list of the pending bills that are defrayed with 676 million, we would not be asking these questions. Because now the 676 could have paid pending bills for 23-24. But now for 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 are still existing. The principle is FIFO, first in, first out. Why aren't you using that principle?
Governor?
We accept that the issue of pending bill is a serious issue. And we will not go back into what occasioned that because, you know, we've already said it. We want to emphasize that we made a provision for payment of pending bills of 676 million. We did the payment. We have now made another provision in this financial year's budget of 800 million. We want to commit that we will make the payment. We also want to reiterate that we will endeavor not to have more bills, pending bills accruing. Under the trajectory of, say, 676 million payment, 800 million coming on board, if we don't incur, which is our determination not to additional pending bills, we are in a trajectory to end the crisis of pending bills in Kajiado. Thank you, Chair.
But that will take 3 years. And remember, every year you are incurring additional bills on goods and services.
That's the commitment we have made.
It will take you 3 years to settle this 2.2 billion. Because 600 you are paid, 800 you are put in the budget, it leaves another 800.
It leaves another 400.
600.
Correct, 800. You are right. You are right, Chair.
So another 800.
800. Yes, we will
so
make
it will take
commitment
3 years to settle the historical, and yet there are also current that are piling up.
We are instituting, financial discipline to ensure that we don't incur additional pending bills, Chairman. That is the commitment I made. That is the determination we have as a county government, that we will strive to, appropriately budget for the correct on-source revenue, because our overestimation of on-source revenue, as earlier on said, has been causing these problems. So while we agree that our potential is bigger, we want to budget according to the history of what we've been able to achieve in the previous years.
And Chair, last one for me, are you able to disaggregate these pending bills into staff payables or statutory deductions and pending bills for projects? Are you able to give that difference? The two,
actually, that's an extremely important disclosure that is required, because we also want to see whether there are statutory remittances that are still sitting on this pending bills register. Do you have such that are outstanding? Statutory remittances?
We do have, and we can easily disaggregate to, separate the two.
I thought you have numbers. You have CECs here.
What is the
number?
number?
Must be having those figures.
Let me ask the CC to give us the exact figures.
Yeah, because, Governor, you must demand some things from your team. Because it makes you look bad that you are verifying pending bills incurred during your tenure. If this was in I think you got to the count in
2017.
If this was in 2017, it would be understandable. But 5-6 years into your tenure means there's something that is not, you are either not asking the questions, or your people are running rings around you, or you're running the rings with them.
I had given my commitment to institute the necessary administrative action to correct that. But let me ask the CC to give us the exact figures of statutory deductions vis-a-vis the other pending bills.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Chair. On the pending bill, yes, it is segregated into pending bills for development, pending bills for recurrent, for supply of goods and services, and we have pending bills accrued as a result of statutory obligations that we have, and some date back to the defunct local authorities. That updated reports we can commit to submit.
But what did you carry when you were coming to the Senate? Surely, did you have some data? I thought the entire cabinet is here, all the key decision makers are here, that if you are to ask you how much do you owe, for example, lab trust or lab fund, it should be somewhere. In other financial statements, it is usually disclosed, and that's why we are asking. In other counties, it is so easy to tell that KRA, we owe this amount. Lab trust, lab fund, we owe this amount. We are asking these questions because of non-disclosure. You are saying you have disclosed. So why don't you give us the numbers instead of the story?
Chair, we continuously also pay these bills.
So at now, because yes. I don't think you paid the bills this morning. As at yesterday, how much are you owing statutory bodies like KRA, like pension funds, like staff circles, like those other mandatory remittances?
And you know the audit is going on, so really, by June 30th, 2025, you must have declared something. What did you declare? And no pending bills must make you have sleepless nights, unless you are saying it's just something ordinary.
Who would have this information if it's not the governor, the CEC, the chief officer, and all these clever people in this room? Who is that person who keeps, because in terms of custody of financial records, the PFM Act assigns that responsibility to this CEC. So we cannot ask that question and leave here without an answer.
Chair, I commit to share the updated reports to the Senate right after this session.
What do you do on a day-to-day basis if it's not making sure that the liabilities of the county are properly documented?
Chair,
see, we must run counties like professional commercial entities. You know, Governor, you have run a ministry. You have sat in cabinet, one of the most important positions in the national executive. If you were to ask your staff, how much does Kajiado owe KRA? Would you accept this story? Because you don't know, he does not know. So who knows? Who should know?
Yeah, we know. We know it's been moving. You know, like it keeps changing because we have been paying quite consistently, and so we are saying to get the precision of the matter, please allow us to provide those figures. But we have worked consistently to reduce the figures, Chairman.
You see, it's difficult to then accept your submission because the Auditor General says you didn't disclose, but now you are saying the non-disclosure has been rectified. So when you ask you for the details of the disclosure, you don't have. You are still saying you want to go back and do it. This is not professional at all. And I know you are the CEO, but there are people you have mandated to be custodian of assets and liabilities of the county. They are not doing a good job. Maybe you cannot give them the Riot Act, but we'll read the Riot Act on your behalf.
I will.
Yeah, because if you do not have visibility of the details of your pending bills, and even the statutory ones, which attract interest if they are not paid on time, why should the people of Kajiado pay interest on bills occasioned by internal negligence? Shouldn't you be concerned about that? Because you'll end up paying much more than you ought to have paid because you don't have that visibility. So I think, Governor, there's a systemic problem when it comes to pending bills. And I think I've personally reached out to you and told you that someone has forwarded to me details of jobs that were done, but have not been paid for a long time. And my responsibility has been, I've shared with you and I've told you, if this is legitimate, please consider it. If it is not legitimate, please dismiss it. Because the Senate cannot direct you to pay something illegitimate. So when the public starts approaching individual members of parliament for help, it means that something is broken within the system. So please don't leave office, because definitely you are leaving office in the next 2 years. I don't know whether you'll be sitting where I'm sitting, but don't leave office without addressing the issue of pending bills.
Completely agree with you, Chair, and it is a commitment that I'm giving that I will take the necessary administrative action, and we will pay pending bills to which the county or the Kenyans who provided the services.
Chair, I think you need to rule, because then the governor said they gave a payment plan to the control of budget. I think we need that copy so that can follow through.
Control of budget, did they forward a payment plan?
Chair can confirm that the county sent the payment plan and they are there according to the payment plan.
Now, OAG, a number of the issues in this report, when we did our earlier brief, we made a comment that the projects that have been highlighted here, in terms of materiality, they don't paint the right picture of state of affairs of Kajiado. And I think, Patrick, you had explained something about prior year issues. Maybe just go on record.
Thank you, Chairman. I did say that the matters which were in the previous year's report, especially on markets, have not been captured in this year's report. And we have given a commitment that in the next report, the matters on prior years will be properly enumerated so that we have a clear visibility on those issues. We don't lose sight of those issues.
And then again, coming back to your team, in terms of the requirements of the standards, you are required to attach an annexure showing how you have dealt with prior year issues. Auditor General, is that part of the template?
Yes, Chair, it is.
So are you able to demonstrate to us where the prior year matters are addressed in your financial statements? Because we are, without putting in prior year issues, then you lose that continuity. So it would appear you have here small projects, Baraka Sixers Road of 9 million, Olkatetema Footbridge, Acacia Feeder Road of 3 million, Green Valley Parkview SDA Road of 8 million, and Kaimurunya Primary of 4 million. Small amounts, but there were other bigger things. Clerks, we had asked that you pull out some of the big projects from prior years. Did you get those reports?
Yes, Chair, we got for the financial year ended June 2022.
What were some of the issues that were there?
The listed projects were non-compliance with contract terms. The first project was the upgrade of the Kiserian Market roads, whose contract sum was 62,327,588. The next project was the upgrade of the Juanco Olepoles Road, whose contract sum was 57,378,472. The next project was the implementation of Ngabolo Ereti Road, whose contract sum was 21,556,036. And the next project was the stall project, which is construction of outpatient department at Emotoroki Dispensary.
Okay, so let me just stop you there.
Sure.
OAG, we have seen in other reports where you have a schedule of projects. And so in this year, you queried just a few projects, which cumulatively, I think when you did the maths, it was coming to 71 million. So 71 million, and yet acquisition of assets was 1 billion plus. We get a feeling as a Senate that by omitting acquisition of assets was 753 million. By omitting prior year issues, we are not getting a proper picture on lawfulness and effectiveness of project management in Kajiado. So I think we have agreed that in the current audit, you are going to make that more detailed.
Yes, sir. Yes, Chair. Actually, the Auditor General gave us that instruction that we must bring all prior year audit issues to the current audit so that there's an overview of all the issues that are still outstanding. So that is what you're going to do.
Okay, so, but to the entity, you have a responsibility also to attach that annexure, which again was not attached. So you didn't disclose your pending bills, you didn't attach the annexure on prior year matters.
Chair, we are well guided, and we will attach in the ongoing audit to make sure that we have dealt with, but also reported prior year issues.
Chairman Park at the County Assembly, I want to request that some of these things we have talked about, for example, pending bills, I want to request that the Assembly looks at the matter seriously, because I am sure they affect the people you represent, and they affect service delivery. Even though you are still considering your report, I want to request that you put some strong emphasis on pending bills, put strong emphasis on revenue collection, and put strong emphasis on these projects that we have seen here. It is very difficult for the Senate sitting in Nairobi to say that Baraka 6 as road is okay without visiting it, or to say that Acacia Feeder Road is okay. But you are on the ground. You have the ability to do so. So let's share the responsibility. You as a primary overseer, you can deal with the small projects, and then the Senate can not just be quarreling with the governor, the Senate can also be a solution provider. Like in the case of Magadi Soda, at least we have found some common ground where we can work together to unlock resources. So maybe, Chairman, I don't know whether you want to make your commitment on record on what you're going to do when you go back.
Yes, I can. Only that we request cooperation from the executive. Others we are ready to work for. And in fact, we are going to visit all the projects as usual. And we are ready to work with them and get a solution.
Okay. OAG, were you involved in preparation of the reports that the Assembly is considering?
Yes, Chairman. We personally was there. We have held a 1-week report writing session with the Assembly, and we were properly able to support the County Assembly members in writing that report.
Okay.
In fact, it was our hope that that report have been tabled and discussed in the Assembly.
Because you would have just taken the recommendations, yes, and followed up.
Yes, Chairman.
So,
and Chairman, we have also advised them to do an inspection of projects, because the Assembly members really will be aware of projects being held in their wards. It becomes very easy for them now to be able to give an opinion on the status of those projects. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, so I think so on projects, that's what we are directing. There were a few issues on legal expenses. OAG, keep that in view, because you said that there was something that was still not addressed. Any other issue that we have not addressed, we will consider the written response. But since you are on the ground, I believe you have done your entry meeting.
Yes, Chair, we have.
So the audit is going on?
Yes.
So if there's anything that is in this report that is still not dealt with to your satisfaction, please include it within the scope of your current audit.
Yes, Chair.
Senator Seki.
Thank you, Chair. I want to agree with your direction, Chair. And as a Senator of Kajiado, I think this is a learning session where the county needs to see where they have gaps, particularly on the issue of revenue, Chair. I still believe that there are some issues of gaps on system, their systems, particularly on the collection of revenue. And more importantly, I think it is also responsibility of this committee to make sure that the issue of Magadi has been brought to this committee in full, so that we are able to follow up to reduce the non-payment of revenue for the county. Chair, I want to also to support the issue of pending bills, that the county also need to put more effort, particularly on where they are budgeting money. When you have budgeted 600 million for the financial year of 2023-2024, and the payment has been done of 600 million, then we should have a reduction of the pending bills. So, Chair, if by the time they come back again, we should see that reduction, because there is a payment of 600 and something million, so that we are able to ascertain exactly where we are. And now that we are also having the audit, the auditors going, the audit taking place in the county, then we need also to see the observation of the 800 million, because I think they have been budgeted for this financial year. So I think from the Auditor General, I think we need to see the 800 million that has been budgeted, so that we see the reduction of the pending bills. Chair, last but not least, the issue of projects. I believe that these projects, there are quite a number, and as what the Auditor General has done, they have just highlighted a few projects within this upper end of, within the Ngong, Kitengela area, but no projects. I'm not seeing many projects within the other side of the rural area. So I think with those few remarks, I would really want to see that the county also are trying. There is a small improvement in terms of even presentation of documentation, at least not that like the other years. But I think you still have a lot of things to do. Otherwise, thank you, Chair.
On a light note, the other years, were you not the county secretary? You don't need to respond.
No, I'm talking about
that off the handset.
I'm talking about the other years when they are presenting the documentation.
Okay. Yeah. It was on a very light note. Governor, I think what your senator from Kajiado has done is to make his closing remarks. So make your closing remarks as well.
Chair and the committee members and the support agencies, I want to appreciate the guidance on this issue of pending bills, on-source revenue, and the commitment that you will also pick up the historical injustice on Magadi. We think it's a very big issue that should not be left, to the county to deal with it alone. I want to give my commitment that I'm seized of the urgency and the importance of the urgent action we need to do to address these matters. I give my commitment that this issue of pending bills is really given the consideration it deserves, and very importantly that we do our accounting reporting in an appropriate way. So I give those commitments to the committee chair. Asante sana.
Okay, so I think in closing, Governor, you have only 2 years to cement your legacy. And I hope that it bothers you what kind of legacy you will leave behind. It should not be a legacy of high pending bills, and it should not be a legacy of underperformance on revenue collection. But of course, even after 2 years, Kajiado County will continue to exist. So we don't have to make decisions for 2 years. We must make decisions that go to the future. And that's why we are committed that even this thing of Magadi, perhaps it is something worth visiting. Perhaps it's an inquiry that should be done in Magadi itself, rather than being done in the boardrooms of Nairobi. So we'll work with you to sort that out, because that is for the future generation. But for the 2 years that you have, with this kind of reporting, you might find yourself along the corridors of justice once you're out of office. So please impose high standards on your team. We would wish you to succeed, but your team must also, play along, because you cannot be the only striker or the only player in a team. There's urgent need to professionalize, particularly financial reporting, financial management, revenue management, because it has come out clearly that there are certain gaps. Administrative action is not limited to sacking. Administrative action could include training. It could include capacity building. So I'm not saying go back and sack your officers. I think you must first try and deal with issues of capacity. And if that does not work, then you can take action as a chief executive officer. But Kajiado is a county with immense wealth. From this conversation, I am convinced that Kajiado can sustain itself if it could optimize its own source revenue. And to the officers accompanying the governor, please remember that you'll also take personal responsibility, and also do not forget where you got professional obligations. If you're an attorney, it's a regulated profession. Accountants is regulated, procurement, human resource. We will not just blame the governor. We will come for you, like we demonstrated earlier on with the reports of the receiver of revenue. So as you go home, it is not a personal witch hunt, and there's no personal vendetta. We are just trying to pursue professional excellence. And I think that this governor should be associated with professional excellence. I think it would be embarrassing that out of the 47 governors, we find that it is Governor Lenku that is not disclosing some things that everybody else is disclosing. So I think there's a lot of work to do for you to ensure that your remaining 2 years are spent on the right things, the right priorities. But I do pray, because your payment plan for pending bills will go all the way to the time when Seki is governor. So I don't know whether he wants to inherit those pending bills. Please make sure, please make sure you close this thing, because people are suffering, and it is this kind of things that make devolution look bad. Unless there is any other observation, we shall, this meeting shall adjourn, and we wish the delegation from Kajiado safe travel back home.
Thank you, sir.
Did we make a transition?
Yes, Chair, we did. The next meeting will be on Tuesday with the Kumara Commission.
Don't have a meeting.
Yes, Chair.
So the committee meets on Tuesday next week at 9:30.